In today's session, we are going to discuss about what exactly the cloud computing, what exactly is Salesforce, and whether cloud computing means Salesforce or Salesforce means cloud computing, or both are two different entities. If these are two different entities, then what is the association of Salesforce with cloud computing? Now, let's see. Now, so in the word cloud computing, the word cloud refers to the internet. The word cloud refers to the internet. Nothing but they want to make everything in the internet. From there, everybody can able to access based on their need. It's like as a collaboration. It's like as a collaboration, like it's not private to somebody else. They would like to make it as public inside the internet. And whoever the people wants to access that, then they have to show their identity by providing the credentials, and they can able to access all the services which they're offering. Now, so let's come to this cloud computing, what exactly it means. What is the use of cloud computing? Why the people are preferring the cloud computing? And why so many clients are adopting these cloud computing services? Suppose, for example, we are having so many organizations in the market. So many businesses are there in the real world since very long time. Like we have some banking organizations who are offering some banking services. We are having some manufacturing organizations. They're offering some set of products or services to their customers. We are having some insurance organizations. They're offering some insurance services to their customers. We are having some finance organizations who are offering some financial services to their customers. We are having some pharmaceutical organizations who are offering some pharmaceutical products to their customers. Like that, we are having so many types of industries, so many types of organizations available in the market who are offering a set of products or services to their customers. So now, whenever an organization is having some set of products and services, in order to automate their business processes, in order to automate their customers' information, their sales information, their manufacturing process information, their employees' information, the whole process they would like to automate. In order to automate their whole business process, they need some softwares. They need some applications by which we can able to maintain all those information. Like to manage all the employees' information inside a separate place, we need a separate application. To maintain all my customers' information, a separate application is required. To maintain all my sales information, a separate application. Like that, they are going to be using some set of applications. Those applications might be the ready-made applications which are available in the market, or those application might be the custom developed application. Nothing but they have implemented that application based on the requirement. So now whatever the applications available in the market, these applications are dividing into two types here. One is the on-premise applications. Second one is the on-demand applications. So whatever the applications are using by the different organizations in the real world, which are used to automate their business processes, those applications has been categorized into two types. One is on-premise applications, second one is on-demand applications. So what exactly this on-premise, what exactly this on-demand? On-premise, premise means what? Our own area, our own local area. So now on-premise applications, nothing but the application which you are going to access. The application which you are using to automate your business process, that application has to be get pre-installed into your local premises. That should be there in the local premises. Premises means the device which we are using to access that application. That application has to be get installed into your local device which you are using to access your application. The device may be a laptop, the device may be a desktop, the device may be a mobile, the device may be a smartphone, or it may be a tab also, whatever. So now in this kind of scenario, whenever if it requires that application to be get pre-installed, then what is the problem? Why the people are going for the on-demand applications? So now on-premise application, what it does? So now it requires the pre-installation of the application or software into our local environment, nothing but local device. So now it may be installed into our local laptop, it may be into our local desktop, it may be into the mobile, it may be into the smartphone which you are using to access that application, or it may be into the tab, it may be into your local organization network. Or it may be installed into your server also. Organization's server, etc. What are the device that you may be using here? So now when coming to the on-premise applications, on-premise application requires the pre-installation of that software into your local device. So now in this kind of scenario, what will be the problems the customers are facing with these on-premise applications? Now, so now for example here, let's see what is the problem over here. For example, assume that I have purchased a PC. I have purchased a desktop here. So now recently I'm done with my graduation. So in order to do some practicals, in order to develop some sample applications, I need a system here. For that I have purchased a PC, nothing but which is a desktop system. So now I have purchased a desktop system by investing some 25,000 rupees. By investing some 25,000 rupees, I have purchased a desktop PC here. So now whenever I have purchased a desktop PC, then inside the desktop, they have installed that Windows operating system also. Windows operating system on free of cost. Generally in the normal days, they won't offer this Windows operating system genuine version on free of cost. They will be charging some 6,000 to 7,000 rupees to provide that Windows genuine operating system. But because of some festival season, because of some new year, they have offered this Windows operating system to me on free of cost. Because they are giving some benefit to the customer. They're offering some discounts to the customer based on the festival seasons, based on some occasions, based on some new year, whatever. So now during that period of time, I have purchased my PC so that they have provided that Windows genuine operating system to me on free of cost. They have installed that into my device. Now, just now I have purchased that PC. Now, can I prepare my resume? Can I prepare my CV with this system? No. Recently, I'm done with my graduation. I'm done with my BTech. Now I'm looking for the job. So in order to looking for the job, then first of all, we have to give the information about yourself to the various organizations that I am myself and so. And then I'm done with my graduation and I'm having this many number of percentage of marks are there. And I did so courses. I'm familiar with these programming languages. So now if there is any fresher openings are there in your organization, though, please let me know so that I can attend the interview and I can get a job into your organization. So that we have to promote ourselves. Okay, we have to promote ourselves. Promoting is nothing but giving the information about ourselves to the various organization, like as a marketing. Then how can we promote yourself? For that, we have to prepare whole your biodata inside your profile, and that profile we have to make it visible to all the companies by placing inside the job portals. So job portal is a common place where all the companies are posting their open positions inside that, so that if they need any resources, they will be finding inside that job portal itself. So that we have to prepare our biodata, nothing but our profile, and that profile we need to place into the job portal. It may be Naukri, it may be Monster, it may be whatever. So if any of the companies looking for some fresher guys, then they can able to find out my profile, they can contact me, and then I will attend the interview and I will get a job into that. So for that, here I would like to prepare my CV here. Now, can I prepare my CV? No. Why? Because is inside my system, just they have installed Windows operating system. In order to prepare that CV, we need that the Microsoft Office software, Microsoft Office Word. Especially, we need that Word software in order to prepare my CV here. We cannot prepare my CV by using that notepad. I need to prepare the CV in a Word document. So, but without installing that Microsoft Office Word inside your desktop, can you able to prepare the CV? No. Nothing but what it means, whatever the application or whatever the software that you are going to use, that software has to be get pre-installed into your local device. Nothing but this software has to be get pre-installed into your local device, then only we can able to start utilizing that. The other ways, it will not allow us to use that application. Nothing but what it means, this Windows, so the Microsoft Office Word, this is nothing but a on-premise. Nothing but first of all, we have to install that Microsoft Office Word software into our local device, then only we can able to start utilizing that. Like the similar way here. For example, I would like to develop a small C program here. I would like to develop a small C program. So now without installing that C programming language software into a local device, will you able to develop the C program? No. Nothing but C programming language is also one of the on-premise application. It is on-premise software. I want to develop a small Java program. So for that, what needs to be done? We have to install that Java software into our local system. So now this is also an on-premise. I want to develop a .NET application, a .NET small program I want to develop. So now for that also .NET software we have to install into your local system. So this is nothing but an on-premise. And then I would like to have some chatting with my friend. So for that, what needs to be done? We have to use that Yahoo Messenger. So now this Yahoo Messenger is also, you will be having the client tool, so that we have to install that client tool here. So now at that time we have to install that, so which requires the pre-installation. So this is also Yahoo Messenger is also on-premise. In order to have some audio calls and the video calls, then we are using some Skype. So now this Skype also we have to install that client tool into our local system. This is also an on-premise application. Nothing but what happened here, so many things available in the real world which are on-premise, which requires the pre-installation of that software into your local device. Like as programming languages, some technologies, some databases, some Yahoo Messenger tools, some third-party tools. These are all our on-premise tools only, which requires the pre-installation of that software into your local device first. Then only we can able to start utilizing that. So now in this case, what is the problem with this on-premise? So now when coming to the people, usage of these desktops are very, very high some time back. Usage of these desktops are very, very high some time back. But nowadays, most of the people has been migrated to the laptops. Most of the people has been migrated to laptops because of flexibility. Whenever you are going to the outside, whenever you are going for a vacation or to your hometown or to your office, at that time you can carry the laptop very easily. But desktop we cannot carry always. So now because of the flexibility, even though it may be very expensive, the people are going to be investing the huge amount and they're purchasing those laptops. So now, nowadays, most of the people are using the laptops. And after 5 years, we may be having the laptop, we may not be having the laptop in the real world. Why? Because is whatever the operations that we are performing with the laptop, the same operations the people are performing with the help of the smartphones and the tab itself. If you want to access the banking application, the people are using mobiles, nothing but the smartphones. Mobile apps they're using. If the people want to reserve any tickets, bus ticket or flight ticket or train ticket or whatever, everything they're doing with the help of the smartphones. If they want to access the internet, they're accessing from the smartphone. If they want to pay some utility bills, they're paying through that mobile phones itself. Nothing but what happened, what are the things that we are performing with the help of the smartphone, with the help of the laptops, the same thing the people are operating with the help of the smartphones itself nowadays. The smartphones are having the similar kind of configuration like as laptop. In your laptop, you are having some 2 GB of RAM or maximum 4 GB of RAM and some 100 GB of hard disk. More than this laptop configuration we are having in our mobiles. The mobiles has been built upon by using some the 6 GB of RAM, 8 GB of RAM, 4 GB of RAM, and 128 GB of extendable memory that will be available. And that too, this is very flexible to carry when compared with the laptop. And whatever the features are there in the laptop, the same features are available here also. Everything we can able to operate on the fly. So now in this kind of scenario, usage of smartphones are very high nowadays. In future, after 5 years, we may be having the laptop, we may not be having the laptop in the real world. So now in this kind of scenario, the people who are utilizing the mobiles, the people who are utilizing the smartphones, the people who are utilizing some gadgets like some tab, then what about those people? There also do we need to install? Yes. Will those devices will support? Maybe. We don't know. Now, in this kind of scenario, what will happen here? So now when coming to my customers, all the customers may not be using the desktops. Some of my customers are using some laptops here. Some of our customers are using the laptops. Now let's see. So now few of our customers are using laptops. So now assume that the laptop device. So now inside your laptop, can you able to install this Windows operating system side the MS Word? Yes, we can able to install that Microsoft Office Word. That possibility will be there. We can able to install that. So now because here this desktop will supports to install this MS Word, and then this laptop is also supports to install this MS Word software inside that. We can able to install that very easily as well here. Now, few of my customers are using mobiles, nothing but the basic model of mobiles they are using right now here. They're using very basic model of mobile, which is not having any touch screen. So now and then which is not having any high configuration here. This is a mobile device they're using right now. So now in this kind of scenario, will you able to install this Microsoft Office Word inside this basic model of mobile? No. When coming to the basic model of mobile, this basic model of mobile will not be supporting to install this Microsoft Office Word software because it is not having that much of capability to install that software. Nothing but it is not supporting to us. And then few of my customers are using the smartphones. Few of my customers are using the smartphones here. So now can you able to install this MS Office Word software inside this smartphone? Yes. So at that time, all the smartphones will not be getting supported over here. Only few smartphones which has been built upon by using the Windows Phone, only those smartphones will be getting supported here. The remaining smartphones will not be supporting to install that, nothing but partially here. So now the smartphones which has been built upon some iOS, the smartphones which has been built upon by using the Android, those will not be supporting to install that the MS Office Word software directly here. Only that smartphones which has been built upon by using Windows Phone, only those smartphones will be getting supported to install this Microsoft Office Word. And some of my customers are using the tabs. Some of my customers are using the tab devices. So now can you able to install this MS Office Word inside a tab? No, not all the devices. Only few devices here also. Nothing but partially. Only few devices will be supporting to install this MS Office Word software inside this device. Not all the software, not all the devices here. Only those tabs which has been built upon by using the Windows Phone, only those tabs will be supporting to install this one. The remaining tabs are not supporting here. Nothing but here also the partiality. Now, in this case, what we can do here? Nothing but when coming to the people, the marketing people, the sales people, and the so many people are going to be using these smartphones and the gadgets and the mobiles. They're not carrying the laptops always here. Okay, they're not carrying the laptops always here. So now, in this case, then what we can do? Now, when coming to the people, the usage of smartphones and the tabs and the mobiles are very, very high right now nowadays. So now in this case, when coming to the people who are utilizing that mobiles or the smartphones or the tabs, those people will not be able to install this Microsoft Office Word. Nothing but they cannot able to install this application here. At that time, what happened? The customers who are utilizing the mobiles and the smartphones and the tab, they cannot able to access my application. So that I will be losing some customers as well. So why? Because is the devices which they are using is not supporting to install. So at that time, the people are facing some problem. We are losing as an organization, we are losing some customers also here because the customers are using some devices which are not supporting to install my application. So now in this kind of scenario, the people are going to facing the problem here. The second problem is, for example, assume that I have installed this Windows Office or MS Office Word inside my desktop or laptop. After 1 year, Microsoft is going to be releasing the latest version of this software here. After 1 year, Microsoft is going to be releasing the latest version of this Microsoft Office Word. Then what we can do? In that latest version, you will be having some latest features are available. Then how can we get those latest features? Again, we have to get the latest version of that software. You have to buy the license, get the software, install into your local device. After 1 more year, again they're providing one more latest release. So at that time, keep on, we have to upgrade. Every year we have to invest the huge amount in order to buy the license of the latest software, and we can get that latest version and then install into your local device. Nothing but keep on, we have to take care of the upgradation. These are the two major problems the people are facing with the on-premise application. The first problem is it requires the pre-installation. Nothing but mandatorily we have to install that application into your local device. That is the first problem. At that time, few of the devices are supporting to install that application. Few of the devices not supporting to install this application. That is a major problem. And the second problem is, once they have installed that application, then keep on, they have to upgrade that application into your local devices. It may be in our local server, it may be in our local devices or whatever. Whenever your latest version has been available, then we have to upgrade that latest version into our local device. Then only we can get the latest features. So these are the two major problems are available when coming to that organization. So for that here, to avoid these two problems, the people has been introduced a feature called as on-demand applications. So now when coming to the on-demand applications, on-demand application does not require any pre-installation. The on-demand application does not require any pre-installation. Why? Because is we have developed that application in such a way that application can be accessible directly without having any pre-installation. No need to have any prerequisite software into your local device. Directly we can able to access that application just by using two components. One is the browser, second one is the internet connection. So now we can access the application just by using browser and internet connection. Now let me know here. Do we need to install the browser? Now let's cross check that. When you go to this desktop, in order to use the desktop, first of all, we have to install that operating system. Whenever you are installing that Windows operating system, browser is inbuilt available. Browser is ready-madely available to you. So that no need to install the browser manually. When you go to the laptop, here also we have to install that operating system. Whenever you are installing the operating system, browser will be inbuilt available. So that no need to install this explicitly. Now mobile, whenever you're purchasing the basic model of mobile, browser is inbuilt available inside that. Whenever you're purchasing the smartphone, browser is inbuilt available. Whenever you're purchasing the tab, browser is inbuilt available. Nothing but what happened in all these devices, browser is ready-madely available here without any pre-installation here, without any explicit installation, ready-madely available. So nothing but in order to access that on-demand application, whatever the features are required, whatever the components are required, from those one component, that is browser, is ready-madely available to you as of now. The second component, internet connection. Every mobile is capable to access the internet here without any proper wired connections. Directly we can able to access the internet. Every smartphone is capable to access the internet. Every tab is capable to access the internet. Every desktop and the laptop is capable to access the internet by using that Wi-Fi connections. So nowadays using that Wi-Fi is very, very high nowadays here, so that no need to have any wide connections. Directly we can able to access that internet. Nothing but what happened, in order to access that on-demand applications, whatever the two components are required, those are ready-madely available without any explicit installations. So now for that here, without installing anything in our local device, directly we can able to access those applications. So now these applications are called as on-demand applications. These on-demand applications are also called as cloud-based applications. These are the cloud applications. So now when coming to the on-demand applications or the cloud applications, cloud application can be accessible directly just by using the browser and the internet connection. So now it may be any device whatever we have. Because if no need to install anything, then what are the device that we have? We can use any device here, because it may be a laptop, it may be a desktop, it may be mobile, it may be a smartphone, it may be a tab, it may be any other device which may come in the future also, like as Google Glasses and everything. Whatever the devices or whatever the technology which may come in the future, every device we can able to use, every technology we can able to use to access this application, so that there is no restriction, there is no pre-installations are required. So for that here, when coming to the cloud applications, in order to access that cloud application, just we need a browser and the internet connections. So now here the cloud applications are called as on-demand applications, where without any pre-installations into your local device, we can able to access those applications. So now, when coming to the organizations, the organizations are using these applications here. So every organization is going to be using a software or an application in order to automate their business processes. So now when coming to the organizations here, for example, let's take a general scenario. Assume that I'm having a person like some Ramesh Kumar. I'm having a person with the name some Ramesh Kumar. So now Ramesh Kumar is financially very sound. From his childhood, he's having some enough money. He's having some lot of money. Now with that money, he wants to run a business. Okay, he wants to run a business. So now he has observed so many businesses, so many industries, and finally he has selected the banking. Because banking organization is a very, very profitable area. Okay, banking organization is a very, very profitable area where we can able to get more number of customers and we can generate more revenue, we can get more profit out of it. So now in this case, he would like to start a banking organization. He would like to start a banking organization. So now in order to start that banking organization, he has given the name as some ABC Bank. His bank organization name is some ABC Bank. With this banking organization, he wants to provide the core banking services. He is providing some core banking services. So basically, every banking organization is going to be offering two types of services. One is core banking services. Second one is the mortgage services. Core banking means what? Basic banking transactions, like as opening the account. It may be any type of account. It may be a savings account or salary account, joint account, corporate account, or whatever. Any type of account we can able to open. And once you have opened that account, we can able to deposit the money by using the different channels. You can withdraw the money by using different ways. We can access that application online. We can use the checkbook. We can use the DD. So many processes. All these features we can able to make utilize inside that core banking. Nothing but the basic banking transactions here. Some banking people are offering the loans also. It may be vehicle loan, jewelry loan, property loan, personal loan, whatever. These are comes under the mortgage process. So now here, when coming to this person Ramesh Kumar, for his banking organization, he is going to be offering the core banking services initially. He's starting the banking organization with the core banking services initially. When moving forward, if the customers needed the loans, then he will start providing that loan facilities as well. Nothing but in future, he is going to be introducing that mortgage process also. So now, as of now, he is offering only the core banking services. So now, once I have started my banking organization, so many customers are visiting my bank. They will be opening their accounts. They'll be performing their own transactions. Then how can we maintain all this information? How can we maintain my employees' information? How can we maintain my account types information? How can we maintain my customers' information? How can we maintain my customers' transactions information? Then how can we maintain all this information? So for that, we need an application. We need a software because we cannot maintain the whole information in terms of some books and records because it is very, very difficult process. It's a horrible process to maintain in terms of records and books. If you're having 50 to 100 customers, then it is okay. We can maintain in terms of books and records. But if it is more than 1,000 customers, it will be very, very difficult to manage that information in terms of books and records. So for that here, I need a software, I need an application. Now generally, whenever the people are looking for an application, first of all, they're looking for a ready-made application here. So do we have any ready-made applications in the market? Do we have any ready-made application in the market which is used to automate my core banking services? Do we have any application? Now, when coming to the market, when coming to the core banking services, we are having a ready-made application is available. That is Finacle. Finacle is a software product which has been developed by the Infosys people. It's a product of Infosys. Now this Finacle is especially providing only the core banking services. It is providing especially only the core banking services. If you want to use that mortgage process, for the mortgage services, the people are going to be using another application called as the FinOne. They're using one other application called as a FinOne. FinOne is a product which is used to automate that mortgage processes, loans processes. Now we are offering only core banking services with our ABC Bank, so that here we don't need any mortgage application. We need only the core banking application that is called as Finacle. So now can I use the trial version of Finacle? No, because Infosys is not offering any trial version of the Finacle. Always we have to buy the license and then only we can able to start utilizing that to access that application, to automate my customers and the transactions information. But Finacle license is very, very expensive. Finacle license is very, very expensive here. Most of the banking organizations in the India and in the abroad countries are using that Finacle to automate their core banking services. When you go to some Axis Bank or Andhra Bank or ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, all the people are using this Finacle product only for the core banking services. So nowadays, not only the banking organization, the postal department people are also started using this Finacle. Because of that, most of the postal departments are also in online. So now when coming to the Finacle, Finacle is a product of Infosys where it is a licensed product. So always we have to buy the license of the Finacle, then only we can able to start utilizing that. So now in this kind of scenario, as a startup organization, as a startup banking organization, I don't have any customers right now. Just now I'm starting my banking organization so that I'm not generating any revenue and then I'm not getting any profit out of it as of now. So in this case, I'm not able to afford that much of amount to buy the license of this Finacle product here. Because it is very, very expensive. It is very, very expensive. So that here I'm not able to afford that much of amount. Because I'm a startup organization. So then what we can do here? If the ready-made application is available and if the ready-made application's licensing cost is not in our budget, then what we can do? So for that here, I don't want to use that ready-made application Finacle. I want to develop my own application here. For that, I would like to go with that custom application development. The people are going to using that second option here. So now we have to go with that custom application development. Nothing but we want to develop my own application based on our requirement, based on our business process. We are developing our own custom applications here. It may be by using any of the programming languages, the technologies available in the market. So now in order to develop your own custom application, we need a platform. We need a platform. So now what do you mean by a platform? Platform is nothing but a development environment. Platform is nothing but a development environment which provides a collection of services to develop the custom applications. To develop the custom applications. In order to develop the custom applications, whatever the resources are required, all those resources will be given by the platform to you here. Like, suppose for example, I'm having some land or space in my hometown. I want to construct a house. So at that time, what we need some resources, like some manpower, we need some bricks, iron, cement, like that we need some resources to construct the house. Like the similar way, in order to build your own custom application, we need some resources here. So what are those resources? Those resources are nothing but some programming languages. We need some technologies. We need some databases. We need some other tools. These are all the various things are required in order to build your own custom applications. So now, for example, when coming to the programming languages, to develop my custom application, I have selected some Microsoft.NET. So why I have selected this Microsoft.NET is, by using Microsoft.NET, we can able to build application very fastly by using the drag and drop features. And then I would like to store my data inside a database called as Oracle. So for that here, what needs to be done? We need to use that Oracle database here, where exactly my customers and my customers' transaction information will be getting resides. So now, in this case, can I use the trial version of this .NET and the Oracle? No. Why? Because the trial version of this Oracle or the .NET may be getting expired after 45 days or after 90 days. So in this case, this application which I'm developing, this I would like to use inside my bank, because my bank is going to be running lifelong, so that this application has to be get run lifelong also. This application should not be get expired. I would like to run these applications lifelong as well. So now in this case, instead of using the trial version of this software, we need to buy the license of this software here. We have to buy the license of the Microsoft.NET. We have to buy the license of the Oracle database from the Oracle Corporation. From the Oracle Corporation, we have to buy the license of Oracle database. From the Microsoft, we have to buy the Microsoft.NET license here. Nothing but in order to buy that licenses, we have to invest some money. But whatever the amount that we are investing to buy these programming languages and the software, this will be very less when compared with that Finacle license cost. So now here in this case, so now once you have purchased that license of these programming languages and the databases, then we can start the application development. Once the application has been getting developed, if the application is ready, then what we can do, we have to install that application. Then where do we need to install? Inside my personal PC? No. We have to maintain a server. We have to maintain a server inside the bank. This is also called as an infrastructure. So now here, whenever you are going to installing that application, we need a high configuration server. We need a high configuration server. we need a high configuration server which will be having the capability to store some terabytes of information, which is having the very faster performance, and which can able to provide the more security for our data as well. So for that here, we need a high configuration server. So in order to buy the high configuration server, then we have to invest the huge amount. Okay, we have to invest the huge amount here. So now in this kind of scenario, the people are going to be investing the huge amount and they are purchasing that high configuration server. But all the people may not be able to afford that much of amount. Few people can able to afford, few people cannot able to afford this amount here. If it is a very big organization who are having more number of customers, who are generating huge revenue, who are generating more profit out of it, then at that time those people can able to afford that amount. But as a startup company or as a mid-sized company which is having some 50 to 100 employees who are generating very less revenue, who are getting very less profit, those people cannot able to afford that much of amount to invest the huge amount to establish that applications. So at that time, what will happen here? So now the customers are not utilizing our applications, the customers are not utilizing our platforms, the customers are not utilizing our infrastructure. So in this case here, they have introduced a feature called as cloud computing. They have introduced a feature called as cloud computing. So what exactly the cloud computing refers to you here? So now nowadays in the real world, we are taking so many things on rental basis. So many things we are taking on rental basis. Like if you want a flat to stay in that home, then we can take that flat on rental basis. Every month we are getting some salary, and from that salary we can pay some rental amount to that flat owner and we can make utilize that flat. So inside the flat we need some water facility, so that the whole month we can able to access that water facility, we can utilize that, and depends upon your utilization we can pay that rental amount to that water department. Inside my flat we need some electricity. The whole month we can utilize that electricity, and then at the end of the month we can pay that bill amount to that electricity department, depends upon your utilization. Inside my flat, I need an internet connection so that we can access the internet the whole month. By end of the month, we can pay that rental amount to that service provider. I want to travel from one place to another place, so that we can take that cab on rental basis. Depends upon your travel distance, we can pay that rental amount to that cab vendor. Nothing but what happened in the real world, we are taking so many things on rental basis. Then why can't we offer our IT services to our customers on rental basis? So now this concept has been introduced by the cloud computing here. When coming to the cloud computing is not a programming language. Cloud computing is not a technology. Cloud computing is not an operating system. Cloud computing is not a database. Cloud computing is simply a concept. It is simply a concept which describes how can we expose our IT services to our customers on rental basis. It is giving the various approaches to you. Okay, it is giving the various approaches to you. How can we provide our IT services to our customers on rental basis? Then no need to invest the huge amount. If they're investing the huge amount, then only the very big organization people, they can able to invest that amount, so that only we are capturing those people only here. But if the startup organizations or the mid-sized organization, those people are not able to afford that much of amount, so that we are not able to capture those people. So if the rental amount is, if the applications are available on the rental process, then the rental amount is very, very less. So at that time, we can capture more and more people. For example, come to a general scenario. Assume that we are having a Big C showroom. Big C is one of the mobile business partner to the various mobile manufacturers. By visiting the Big C showroom, you can buy whatever the mobile that you want. It may be from Samsung models, it may be from Sony, it may be from HTC, it may be from LG or Apple or whatever the mobile phones that you want, we can able to buy that. So now on an average, every day, 1,000 people are visiting the Big C. 1,000 people are visiting the Big C. Out of 1,000 people, how many people will buy iPhone? Hardly 10 people. Hardly 10 people will buy the iPhone. Why? Because it is very, very expensive. It's very, very costly. The people are not able to invest that much of amount. That's what they're going to the other manufactured mobiles like a Samsung, Sony, which are available for 7,000, 8,000 rupees of cost itself. So now, if the iPhone is available for 10,000, then how many people will buy the iPhone? Everybody, almost 100%. All the people will buy the iPhone if it is available on very less cost. Because of that expensive, the people are not going to be showing interest to utilize our services. So for that here, when coming to the cloud computing, they have identified the whole market, they have identified the whole business processes, and they finally find out that because of our IT services are completely on the licensed base, which are very, very expensive, so that very few people are utilizing our IT services. Then why can't we offer our IT services to our customers on rental basis? If I'm providing on rental basis, then rental amount is very, very small, so everybody can able to afford. It may be a small company, it may be a mid-sized company, it may be a very big company. Everybody can able to afford that amount so that they can able to utilize our services, and we can get more number of customers, we can generate more revenue, we can get more profit out of it. So for that here, they have introduced a feature called as cloud computing. So now what exactly the cloud computing? When coming to the cloud computing here. So now when coming to the cloud computing is simply a concept which provides the various approaches to access the IT services. To access the IT services, nothing but IT services means it may be a ready-made application, it may be a custom application development, nothing but the platform, whatever you want. It may be the infrastructure also, whatever you want. Everything we can able to access over the internet. Nothing but we can to access the IT services over the internet by using any device, by paying the rental amount to the vendor. By paying the rental amount to the vendor. So now when coming to the cloud computing here, it is giving those various approaches to you here. So now cloud computing provides the various approaches to access that various IT services. It may be the platform service, it may be the ready-made applications, it may be the infrastructure also. Everything we can able to take it on rental basis. So by paying that rental amount, we can able to access that application or the services here. So at that time, no need to install anything here. It is purely a cloud base. It is purely an on-demand. So that on-demand application does not require any pre-installation. Everything is already installed in the cloud space, nothing but in the internet. From there directly we can able to access. To access the internet, no need to have the laptop and desktop mandatorily. We can use your smartphone, you can use your mobile, you can use our tab, you can use any device which may come in the future also. So that when coming to the cloud computing applications can be accessible by using any device whatever we have in the market here. No need to have the laptop or desktop mandatorily. So now in this kind of scenario here, when coming to the cloud computing, what is the advantage? The major advantage is, the first one is no investment. That is nothing but the zero investment here. No need to invest the huge amount here. It is very on rental basis, so that directly we can access. Depends upon your utilization. By end of the month, we can pay that rental amount to the vendor, so that there is no investment is available here. And then, do we need to maintain any infrastructure? So that no need to maintain any server, no need to maintain any local infrastructure to install that here. Nothing but the no prerequisite softwares. No prerequisite softwares to install here. And after that, when coming to the cloud computing applications here. So now, do we need to upgrade that existing devices? No. No need to upgrade anything here. Nothing but the no upgradations. No upgradations here. And the security is also very, very high. Okay, security is also very, very high. So now here, when coming to the cloud computing, here there is no investment here. So that's what here, even though if it is a startup company also, they're having the Salesforce applications. Even though the mid-sized company also which are having some 10 to 20 employees, those are also having that Salesforce applications because of the flexibility, because of the low budget. So in this case here, even though in each and every small company and the mid-sized company and the big companies also will be having the Salesforce implementations are available in the market. Now, when coming to the cloud computing, what kind of services it is offering to you here? So now basically cloud computing is going to be providing the three classifications of services. They're providing three classifications of services. So what are the three classifications of services offered by the cloud computing? It is offering the SaaS service, it is offering the PaaS service, it is offering the infrastructure service. So what exactly the SaaS? What exactly the PaaS? What exactly the infrastructure? SaaS means software as a service. PaaS means the platform as a service. So IaaS means infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service. These are the three classifications of services offered by the cloud computing to their customers. When coming to the SaaS, SaaS means what? Software as a service. Nothing but observe this one. When you observe this, all these three categories, then the last three characters are same. Okay, the last three characters are same. Nothing but as a service, as a service, as a service. These are not the products, these are the services. For example, we are having a mobile. Mobile is what? A product. If you want to use the mobile, then what needs to be done? We have to invest the amount. It may be 5,000, it may be 10,000, it may be 80,000 or whatever. Invest the huge amount, buy the mobile, then only we can start utilizing that. We are having a pen. For that, it may be of cost 2 rupees or 10 rupees or 100 rupees, whatever. We have to invest the amount, buy the pen, then only we can start utilizing that. Nobody is providing these pens and the mobiles on rental basis, but the IT services are providing on rental basis here. If it is on rental basis, then these are nothing but the services. So now we can able to take the services on rental basis here. Products we cannot take it on rental basis. So now in this case, when coming to the cloud computing is going to be offering their software, their platform, their infrastructure as a service, nothing but on rental basis they're providing to their customers. So now this rental amount is very, very less so that everybody can able to afford this amount, everybody can able to start utilizing that. So now, SaaS means what? SaaS software means an application, a program which contains some set of features which are used to automate some certain business processes. Now that software may be having some features to automate your banking process. That software may be having some features to automate your hotel management process. That software may be having some features to automate the supermarket process or whatever. So for that here, when coming to the software is nothing but a ready-made application. Okay, it is nothing but a ready-made application here. It is ready-made application. So now what are the ready-made applications available in the market? If that ready-made application is exactly suitable for your business, then you can take that ready-made application on rental basis and then access that application and then automate your business processes. So at that time, so when the customers are going to be utilizing that ready-made applications on rental basis, then it is called as software as a service. When the customers are accessing the ready-made applications on rental basis, then it is called as software as a service. Because software means what? An application or a program. So now we can able to access that ready-made applications on rental basis, which exactly suits to your business. If the ready-made applications are not suitable for your business, then what we can do? We're developing our own custom applications here. To develop that custom application, we need a platform. We need a development environment. So now at that time, whatever the development resources that you need to develop your custom application, that resources you can take it on rental basis. So at that time, whenever you are taking that platform on rental basis, so the development resources on rental basis, it is called as platform as a service. When the customers are accessing the development platform on rental basis, then it is called as platform as a service. Platform as a service to develop your own custom applications. Once your application has been done, then where we can install that application here? For that, we need a server. We need an infrastructure here. So at that time, no need to buy the high configuration server by investing the huge amount, and we can take that infrastructure also on rental basis. We can take that memory space also on rental basis here. So at that time, when the customers are accessing server resources means smart, memory, and the performance and the security. If all these resources are on rental basis, then it is called as infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service. So these are the various three categories of services or the classifications of services offered by the cloud computing to you. Whenever you need, if you need a ready-made application, then you can take that software services on rental basis. If you need a development platform to develop your own custom application, then we can use that platform on rental basis. If you need only that server resources, then we can use that infrastructure on rental basis. So whatever the resources that you want, we can able to access that. Then at that time, who are providing these resources to you here? Cloud computing is simply a concept. Then who are developing these ready-made applications, who are developing these platforms, who are developing this infrastructure, and who are providing all these things to the customers on rental basis. So for that here, for the cloud computing, we are having so many vendors are available here. We have so many vendors. Suppose, for example, I need a cab. I would like to travel from some Hyderabad to Bangalore. Because of some emergency, I would like to start immediately here. So for that, we need a cab. Then who are providing the cabs? So many vendors are available, like as Call Taxi, Ola, and Yellow Cabs, Taxi for Sure. Like that, so many cab vendors are available who are having their cars and they're providing those cars to you on rental basis. Like the similar way, when coming to the cloud computing also, we are having so many vendors are available. So who are going to be developing their applications, their platforms, and then they're maintaining their infrastructure and everything they are going to providing to their customers on rental basis. So now we are having so many vendors are there for the cloud computing. Like we are having Amazon. Amazon is one of the vendor. And we are having the Google. Google is also one of the vendor. We are having Microsoft. This is also one of the vendor. We are having Salesforce.com. This is also one of the vendor. We are having Oracle. This is also one of the vendor. We are having IBM. This is also one of the vendor. And we are having Alibaba. Alibaba is one of the vendor. Recently, Alibaba has entered into the mobile networks also. And we are having GoDaddy. Like that, so many vendors are available in the market who are offering their applications, their platforms, and their infrastructure to their customers on rental basis. So nothing but what we have observed, we are having so many vendors are available for the cloud computing who are offering the cloud services to their customers. So from those vendors, one of the vendor is Salesforce.com. Nothing but Salesforce means not the cloud computing. Cloud computing means not Salesforce. Salesforce is different, cloud computing is different. Now, cloud computing is going to be giving the various approaches. How can we expose our IT services to our customers on rental basis? Based on those approaches, Salesforce.com organization people has built some applications. They have built some platform. They are maintaining their servers and they're providing all these resources to their customers on rental basis. So now when coming to the Salesforce.com, Salesforce.com is one of the vendor here. Salesforce.com is one of the vendor. It is a vendor to the cloud computing services. So now, when coming to the Salesforce.com, Salesforce.com is an organization. It is an organization which has been started in 1990s. Which has been started in 1990s. So now this has been started by a person called as Mark Benioff. This has been started by a person called as Mark Benioff. Initially, this person is one of the executive person from the Oracle Corporation. He has rendered his services to the Oracle Corporation for a long time. And after that, he came out from that organization and he has started his own company with the name Salesforce.com. So now from the beginning, Salesforce.com is purely concentrating on cloud services. Purely concentrating on cloud services. They're purely concentrating on the cloud services here. Purely they're concentrating on the cloud application, nothing but everything they're providing to their customers on rental basis here. So now in this case, when coming to the Salesforce.com, what kind of services they're offering to their customers here? So now whether they're offering all the three categories of cloud computing services, or only SaaS they're offering, or only platform, or only infrastructure they're offering here. What kind of services they're offering? So now when coming to the Salesforce.com, Salesforce.com is going to be offering, they offers all the categories of cloud computing services. Cloud services. They're offering all the categories of the cloud services here. Like they're offering the SaaS, they're offering the platform, PaaS services, and they're offering the infrastructure services as well. All the three categories of services offered by the Salesforce people to their customers. So now as part of SaaS, Salesforce is offering an application. SaaS means what? The ready-made applications. Because SaaS means the ready-made applications. Now what are the ready-made applications offered by the Salesforce people to their customers? As part of SaaS, they're offering an application called Salesforce CRM application. So they are going to be offering that Salesforce CRM application by which we can able to automate your existing customers as well as the new customers information. So now the Salesforce CRM application they are providing to their customers on rental basis so that directly we can able to access that application here. Now when coming to the Salesforce CRM application, so it is the world's first on-demand CRM application in the market. This is the world's first on-demand CRM application in the market here. Before that, we are having so many CRM tools are available, but those are all on-premise. That you are already aware of what are the problems with that on-premise. So now when coming to the on-demand, Salesforce CRM is the world's first on-demand CRM tool in the market, where this CRM application will be accessible just by using the browser and the internet connection. No need to have any prerequisite software, no need of any installations, no need of purchasing that no need of investing the huge amount to maintain your infrastructure. Everything we can able to access over the internet itself by paying some rental amount to that vendor. That flexibility will be available to you here. Next, if the existing CRM application is not suitable, for example, I'm into the banking. So now in this case, when coming to the banking people, so now CRM is not required for me. I'm into the banking sector, or I'm into the manufacturing sector, or I'm into the pharmaceutical sector. So at that time, we don't want this CRM application. We want to build our own custom application. Then we need a platform. So for that, Salesforce is offering a platform called as Force.com platform. So now when coming to the Force.com platform here, by using this Force.com platform, what we can do, by using this Force.com platform, we can able to customize the existing Salesforce CRM application, and as well as we can able to build your own custom applications also, whatever you want. So now by using this platform, we can customize existing Salesforce CRM application, or we can build our own custom applications also. We can build our own custom applications also, whatever you want. So now here, when coming to the first.com platform, to build your custom application, we need some programming languages here. So that as part of this first.com platform, it is providing the two programmings. One is Apex programming. Second one is the Visualforce programming. These are the two programming languages offered by the first.com platform to you, by which we can design and we can develop your own custom applications based on your need. And then once you are done with that application development with the help of these programming languages, now here you can raise a question like, if I want to develop a C programming language application, then we need to install that C programming. But here, whatever this Apex programming language in Visualforce, do we need to install? No. No need to install anything, just we can able to use the browser and we can able to write the code inside the browser itself. And your code will not be saving into your local system, the code will be saving into the internet itself. So from anywhere, anybody can able to access your code also here. We can able to grant that permission. So for that here, that much of flexibility is available to you here. Now, no need of installing any programming language. Everything is available inside the cloud, inside the internet itself here. Now, once you are done with your application development, then in order to install that application, we need an infrastructure. So we need some servers. So for that here, Salesforce is maintaining their own servers or the infrastructure here. So now inside that server, Salesforce is going to providing some memory space to you. Memory space. They're going to be taking care of the performance issues. They're taking care of the upgradations. They're taking care of the security issues as well. Everything will be providing by the Salesforce to you itself here. So now when coming to the Salesforce.com, Salesforce.com is an organization which is one of the vendor for the cloud computing services, which is going to be offering a set of services to their customers on rental basis. Now Salesforce is offering all the three classifications of cloud computing services. They're offering the SaaS, they're offering the platform, they're offering the infrastructure. As part of SaaS, they're offering one ready-made application called as Salesforce CRM application, which is used to automate your existing customers and the new customers' information. And they're offering that platform also to build your own custom application that is called as first.com platform, by which we can able to build your own custom applications, whatever you want. It may be banking application, finance application, and the manufacturing application, life sciences, whatever the application that you want, everything we can able to build. There is no such restrictions. And that too, you no need to install this platform into your local device, just we need the browser and the internet connection. No need to maintain the high configuration system. Even though you are having the 256 MB of RAM, that is also sufficient to access these cloud services. That much of flexibility is available here. And then, now along with that, once that application has been getting developed, if your application is ready, then we can able to install that application into that server provided by the Salesforce to you. So for that, they're offering that infrastructure also to you. And then by using this infrastructure, Salesforce is providing some memory space. Inside that memory space, we can install that application. And if there is any performance issues are there, if there is any upgradations are there, if there is any security issues are there, everything will be taken care by the Salesforce people itself. Nothing but from our side, there is no risk. Just we can get that services and then utilize that and then deploy that application. That's it. The remaining thing will be taken care by the vendor itself. That much of flexible features are available when coming to the Salesforce. So this is the whole information, the brief information about the cloud computing and the Salesforce. So now basically, this cloud computing it's purely, the Salesforce is purely a 2-month course, which is purely online. Now we are going to be discussing about the two parts inside this Salesforce course. Basically, we are having the two parts. One is the admin. This is also called as configuration part. And we are having the second part. This is the development. This is called as the customization. This is called as the customization. Nothing but here in this configuration, we are going to be discussing about the Salesforce CRM. By using Salesforce CRM application, how can we build our own custom applications without writing the code? Nothing but this is a no coding option. Without writing the code, without using any programming languages, how can we build the application up to some extent? And during this development, customization is nothing but we are writing some code also here. Nothing but it is purely the Force.com platform. So in that, we are going to be discussing about the Apex programming and the Visualforce programming. How can we use this Apex programming and how can we use this Visualforce programming in order to write our own custom code to develop our custom applications? So basically here, this is not the much coding part because Salesforce coding is very, very minimal. Inside that Salesforce coding is very, very minimal here. Why? Because most of the features are configurable features. Just by using the mouse pointer itself, we can able to implement up to 70% of the application without writing any code. But few applications we can able to implement 100% also without writing any code. Even the single line of code also we no need to write. That much of advantages are available. So that's what here. If the coding is very, very less, then the time will be very, very less. If the time is less, then the client can able to save some budget also here. He can able to save some money. That's what here most of the clients are going to be adopting this Salesforce implementations nowadays. We have the very huge requirement for the Salesforce nowadays in the market. Not only in India, especially in the US, in all the abroad countries, we are having the very good demand for the Salesforce, and we are getting very good packages also, compensations also. The billing is also very, very good for Salesforce. For the next 10 to 15 years, we don't have any competitor for Salesforce in the market. Some time back, they thought of Pega will be the competitor, but Pega is purely into the BPM process. But Pega is not able to beat this Salesforce here. They're purely into the BPM process. BPM is different and the CRM processes are different. So now here, as of now, whatever the customers are available in the market, who are developing their application by using Java, .NET, everybody is migrating to Salesforce. Why? Because licensing cost is very, very less. No need to have more investment. Zero investment is there. And that too, these applications we can able to access by using any device, whatever you have. That flexibility is there here. Because of that, most of the customers are going to be adopting these cloud services nowadays in the market. Then as a developer, then why we need to learn this Salesforce? What is the benefit to me? So now, as a developer, we are also having some benefits. Generally, the people are going to be fearing about the coding part. People may be learning some Java, people may be learning some .NET or whatever. Up to that learning part, it will be fine. Because they will discuss some small programs. So that will be fine. They can do the practice very easily. But when they enter into that actual real time, their struggle starts. The people are going to be facing so many issues while writing the code. Some people are going to be losing their job also because they're not able to perform well. They're not able to write the code properly. So for that here, the people are not showing interest in that, the coding part side. So for that here, the people are feeling burden to learn all the programming languages, to write the code. Why? Because when you go to Java, it will be almost one semester course, like 6 months, where we have to learn core Java, advanced Java, and J2EE, and then some new frameworks. So now when you reach to that frameworks, then again, some more new tools will be coming into the market, so that we have to learn those tools also. When you finish the learning those new tools, then some more tools will be coming into the market again. Nothing but what happened, it's keep on a learning process here, so that the people are feeling burdened to learn all these programming languages. They're not able to remember all the information. They can't recollect all the information because we are having very small chip in our mind. So it is very, very difficult to remember all the things in our mind. So that's what here the people are feeling burdened. So for that, Salesforce has avoided that burden from the developer side. Even though you are developing your application, then no need to learn more programming languages. Just you can learn Apex and Visualforce. That's it. No need of any database. The database part has been completely eliminated over here. No need to learn SQL programming, PLSQL programming, nothing. Because the database will be getting taken care by the Salesforce automatically by default. Because of ORM, object relationship and the mapping technology. So that's what here, when coming to the Salesforce, most of the developers are also adapting. They are learning, they're showing interest to learn the Salesforce because in Salesforce, coding part is very, very minimal. Coding part is very, very less because most of the features are configurable features. So that whenever we got a requirement in the real time, first of all, we have to understand the requirement and then we have to think whether it can be possible through admin or not. If it is possible through configuration, then we can able to configure that. Nothing but just by using mouse pointer, you can able to implement that feature without writing any code. If it is not at all possible, then we can go with the development part. So then we have to write some small piece of code. We are going to be implementing that functionality. So for that here, Salesforce is not completely the development. Salesforce is not the completely the programming. It's a combination of both configuration and the customization. So that's what here, most of the features, 60% of the features we can configure and the remaining 40% we are writing the code. Nothing but when compared with the other programming languages, like as Java, .NET, 100% coding, but here only 40% of the coding is there. So that no need to learn more programming languages. That's what here, when coming to the developers are also adopting this as Salesforce here. Now, when coming to this particular course, we are going to be covering both the functional part and the technical part both. So now Salesforce CRM is the functional and the platform is the technical part to you. Both we are going to be covering inside this, and along with that, we are going to be discussing about some basic integration features as well. Generally, integration is completely a different course, but I'm going to be giving some information how to integrate your Salesforce with some external systems. 2 to 3 applications I would like to integrate with your Salesforce, and I will give that information to you here. How to do that practically also, we'll do that here.